I'm here to talk to you today about what a text structure is. So, text structures are used in nonfiction writing, and that means it's not a story, it's real. It's something that's real, like a newspaper article or an autobiography. Text structures refer to how the author organizes the information he or she wishes to present. So, the paragraphs or the sentences, how are they arranged? How are they organized? Okay, so why is it important? Why do we care about text structure? When we can understand how the information is organized, it helps us to better understand what we read. So that helps us with our reading comprehension. Authors who use text structures to organize their nonfiction writing help readers learn and retain what they have read. So you'll better learn what you're trying to learn. Okay, so let's look at 5 different passages and explore the most common text structures. So number 1 is description or topical. So description will do what it says. It's going to describe something. There's going to be a topic such as coffee or soccer or ballet, and it will just tell you about that topic. It will give you details that you need to know to understand that topic. So sometimes if there's many paragraphs, like an essay, then each paragraph will describe a different aspect of that topic. So here's an example of that. Soccer is one of the most popular sports in the world. So our topic is soccer. Millions of people play soccer. It is a fairly simple game to learn. Players try to move the ball down the field and kick it to their goal. So this first paragraph describes how it's played. They tell you the rules, basically, of soccer, what the goal of the game is. The second paragraph says players need to know the rules. You're not allowed to touch the ball with your hands, or you're throwing the ball unless you're the goalie or you're throwing the ball onto the field from the sideline. You are also not allowed to tackle other players. The referee watches to make sure each player follows the rules. Okay, so the second player talks more in depth about the rules. And the third paragraph says to play soccer, you need just a few items. You need to have a ball, a large area of grass, and goals. Many players wear special shoes called cleats. These shoes have points on the bottom to help players run without slipping. Many players also wear shin guards. These protect the player's legs from getting kicked. So basically what soccer is, the rules of the game, and what do you need to play the game. So there's 3 paragraphs, and all they do is describe what soccer is. So a description is telling somebody about something. Like, let's say somebody never heard of soccer and they don't know what it is. This descriptive essay would tell them what it is. Okay, so here's the descriptive structure here. Topic is soccer. The details are how to play the game, the rules, and the clothing and equipment needed to play the game. And that's an example of a descriptive text structure. Okay, the second type of text structure is a sequence. So a sequence, or chronological order or time order, will tell things in the order of events. So first, next, finally, last, second, or it will have dates. Like in 1851, then later in 1983, and last in 2016. So it will tell things how they happened in order of time or first, next, last. So here's an example. Soccer is a game that has been played for numerous years. In fact, many people believe that it began in England over 800 years ago. About 200 years ago, in the early 1800s, boys in England played a sport like soccer, but they called it football. However, each school made up their own rules. In 1863, a group of players met and wrote official rules for soccer. Soccer started spreading to other countries. In 1904, an international group called FIFA formed to make sure that every team around the world followed the same soccer rules. Today, soccer is one of the most popular sports in the world. So we go through the sequence of events here. We have 800 years ago, 1800s, 1863, 1904, and then today. So it goes in time order of events and how they happened. That makes this a sequence text structure example. Here we go. Started 800 years ago, early 1800s, 1863, and we can see those dates give us an indication that this is a sequence text structure. Okay, the third type of text structure is a compare and contrast. So that's when The writing will tell how two or more things are alike and also how they're different. So think about that Venn diagram with the two circles that intersect. In the middle, they say the alike things, and on the outsides, they say what's different about the two topics. So here's an example. Soccer and football are alike in few ways, but have many differences. One similarity is that there are 11 players on the field at one time in both soccer and football. They are both popular sports in the United States, and they both require the use of a ball in a field. So I don't have to read any further to know that this is a compare and contrast text structure because I see things that are similar and things that are different. And each different paragraph might explain differences and similarities. So this can be organized using a Venn diagram. They're both sports, they both can kick the ball, they both have 11 players, but here's the differences. Different shaped balls, one has a goal, one has an end zone. One you barely ever use your hands, the other one you mostly use your hands. One has no tackling and one has tackling. Okay, so the fourth type of text structure is cause and effect. So in this type of a writing, the author will be explaining why something happened. So what is the cause and the effect of that cause? And usually they'll explain the effect first and then maybe what happened to cause it later. So it can go either way. Here's an example. This is talking about head injuries. And it says head injuries account for between 4% and 22% of all soccer injuries. These can result in concussions. So that's the effect. Concussions are the effect. And then here's the cause. A concussion may occur when someone's head strikes an object. The most common cause of a concussion during soccer is when one player's head strikes another player's head. The second most common cause of a soccer-related concussion is when the ball is kicked from close range and hits a player's head. Heading the ball does not cause head injuries as long as it's done properly. Okay, so the cause in this paragraph is two players hitting heads, and there's another cause, a ball hitting someone's head when kicked at close range. And then the effect would be having a head injury or a concussion. Okay. Problem solution is number 5. So similar to cause and effect, this is going to discuss a problem, but the difference is it's going to give you solutions to that problem. So in this first cause and effect paragraph, we didn't get any solutions to the head injuries. They didn't say, oh, well, players should wear helmets or players should be taught how to properly head the ball. There was no solution. So it's not a problem solution. There is a problem, but it's just the cause and an effect. It's the problem and why the problem is happening. No solutions. But in a problem and solution text structure, we will have a problem with the solutions to that problem. So here's an example. Professional soccer players head the ball thousands of times during their careers. Doctors are unsure whether players that repeatedly head the ball are more susceptible to later head injuries. Therefore, many parents and coaches are choosing to take steps to protect young players. What are some possible protections? So we could substitute this word protections with solutions, right? Make sure children learn how to properly head the ball, use the appropriate size ball for the age of the players, and make a no heading rule for young players. So we can see that the problem is head injuries during soccer, and the solutions are proper instruction, correct ball size, and no heading. So that shows us we had a problem-solution text structures. Okay, so just to review, we have descriptive, sequence, or chronological order, compare and contrast, cause and effect, and problem solution. So just be aware that there are keywords that will help you key in to understand when you're reading a text to determine what the text structure is. Look for numbers for sequence, like times, dates, words like first, last, next. When you look at compare and contrast, you're going to look for words like alike, similar, different. When you look at cause and effect, you're going to look for words that signal that there's a problem and that how that problem occurred. And when you look at problem and solution, you'll look for words like problems and solution and other synonyms for those words. Okay, thank you very much.